So yes, everyone welcome to the awesome day of FileMaker training where we're going to go to Miles. We have the the FM starting point 25 release. The version is 25. Miles, you want to show your screen on the website. Miles is going to be here with us. He is the kind of an interesting one of the managers at RCC. There he is. He's got a Sequoia background. Looks very nice. So this is, you want to zoom in a little bit. It's a little on the small side. Just hit Command Plus on your, one more time. There we go. Okay. So this is the FM starting point website. We have been collecting bug releases and things that features like that. And down here, I'm sure anytime down at the bottom of that, it's going to, do an option reload on there? Is that current? Because that should say, oh, it just said.
Well, here's where we get into our fun chat.
Oh,
We don't have a
yeah.
Claris FileMaker 2025 yet, so
Well, and even then, it really wouldn't be 2025, it'd be 22. So yeah, if we call things by the proper versioning name, yeah, it's kind of screwed up. So yeah, so we make sure the marketing number matches the version number, which matches the year, which keeps simple. Because I don't feel like translating for everyone if we can avoid it. So what we do is we name it. If we call it shorthand to starting point 25 version 25 came out in the year 2025, which makes it easy to identify. And then you have to look at some sort of chart to see what the hell Claris was shipping in 2025. And you would look down and see that they were shipping either FileMaker 21 or 22 were the two shipping versions in 2025. So anyway, kind of a screwed up mess. So a lot of you have submitted bug fixes to starting point. And we have incorporated those fixes. So we do have, if you go to the versions button at the top center, Miles, walk us through the versions. What do we have version-wise in here? Tell us about this.
yeah. So the breakdown of FM starting point, which those of you longtime viewers, you probably know most of this info, but we probably do have some new people. So FM starting point is our totally free CRM. But there are different versions, which are here on the site if you want to look at them later. Light, standard, and enhanced. Just give you kind of the quick breakdown. Light is not light in functionality, but light in complexity. So it is great for showing someone what a CRM is. It's great for developers who are just getting started and want to tinker around. And it was also designed, so it's great for Mac and Windows, but there is not like mobile specific layouts. So it's a lot of the, like in standard, a lot of the extra functionality that we have, we kind of peeled out to make this lighter version. So like I said, you do not have the mobile layouts. There's some extra tables like timesheets and milestones that are in standard that you don't really need in this light version. So those have been pulled out. And another big part is the actual IDs. So the main primary ID in each table, say contacts. In standard and enhanced versions, those are UUIDs. But in light, they are just simple, like contacts would be CON001, increments to 02.
It's an incremental serial number. And these are, let me draw in here. And there is a comment here from Andrew. I'm going to have Miles probably do that live on TV to see what happens. If you want to read that in Discord real quick, Miles. I don't know if you have another computer, you can look at that. So standard and enhanced, both the primary keys for everything are UUID. This leads us to compatibility with MirrorSync. And MirrorSync is from the people at 360 Works who rarely, but sometimes will respond to my emails. And they're supposed to come on the show, but they haven't come on the show. And so I don't know where they're at or what they're doing. So this is what I use. This is what we used last week. And we have the link for that. Margaret's going to help distribute the link for this. This is a link for the kind of the parts inventory process where we wrote a part system over the course of the week. We did data modeling, building the tables, understanding the relationships. There's videos on that. And so it's based upon starting point light. That's a separate download. So if we want to download this right now, we would hit I don't know, how do we download this? Where's the download button?
Yeah, so if you go back home, we got the big download all versions right here.
Yeah.
You would fill that out. And you would actually get a page that would have light and standard listed.
Cool.
And you can also jump to legacy versions from there,
there's
randomly someone, yeah.
All the way back to, I think, the starting point version 2, which was the FileMaker 11 one. I
Yeah,
think.
11, 12. Yeah, it goes pretty far back.
Yeah, and they actually will work. It's kind of wild. You go back and see the interface differences. So if you want to pop the interface up on this real quick, and I don't know if we want to look at what Andrew was talking about, but what we have is we have for each of well, for standard enhanced, there are 4 versions of English for each. And what it is that there's US English, then there's the UK English, and that mostly means that if we say hamburgers and fries, it says fish and chips and like that. Now the dates are different and the currency is different. There's an EU one for the EU, European Union countries. There's also Australia because they decided that they were going to be different than everyone else as well. And so they have dollars, Australian dollars, I think, but then their dates and times different. So what we did is one of the things I keep talking to Claris about the ability to easily change the currencies and stuff is something they haven't really got into yet with there's some capabilities they're trying to finish. We call the Star Trek transporter, aka XML2, and they have been prototyping that since FileMaker 17. They've never finished it. Anyway, so these are all English, but they're just little adjustments to the country. Okay. Miles, you want to actually open it up and look at it? Do you have one that you can open?
Yeah, just to finish off the version conversation though.
Yeah.
So these are the different languages. Standard is our main one. So if RCC starts a new development project, we're going with standard. That's just kind of the classic main one. It does have integration for QuickBooks and Mirror Sync pre-set up. It's not you get this and it magically all works. You'll need to get the plugin. You'll need a little setup, but they've kind of been pre-laid out there. That's in standard and enhanced. And then the last part is enhanced, which, as Richard mentioned a few minutes ago, we have different subscriptions we offer through FM Training TV. And if you get our complete subscription, that's the one that comes with a copy of FileMaker, you also get this FM Starting Point enhanced version. So this is the only one that is not a free option. This is only comes in that subscription. But it does have some extra features. Most of them, we call them side nuggets because it's functionality that's built in, but it's off the layout. So just on opening it, you might not see it, but it is there. One spot I like to show is in the invoices. So if I have US standard open here, but I'm also going to open US enhanced. And if I go into the invoice section, if I held them side by side, they'd look the same. But once I go into layout mode, I scroll to the right. All of this is extra. So ability to save PDF to desktop. There's a card style window of previous purchases. Just some different things that could be useful for the actual customer, but also from a developer side,
save
just
PDF
learning
to
some more
desktop.
functionality.
Yeah, that one right there. That comes up all the time, every day. Okay. So, and then Side Nuggets is a combination of me and Jacob Taylor having a conversation about it. And it was like a drive-through. I had like one free copy of Starting Point. Sir, would you like to supersize that with some Side Nuggets? Yeah, I'd love that. That's where that came from. So you could supersize your Starting Point. You get the Side Nuggets on the side that give you additional capabilities, which is really great. So once again, if I'm doing it, and especially if I'm doing training for newer people, I start with the light one. It's easier to understand. It's easier to understand for a wide variety of reasons. So, cool. All right. So this is what it looks like. Miles, do we have a kind of a punch list of the bugs that you did? Is that in the it should be in the README. That's in
it. It is, yeah. So whenever you download Starting Point, we have these. It comes in a zip, and one of the things is the README. Any changes we have, we will put in there. This release is not shattering for anyone. There's just basically some bug fixes, but we wanted to get that correct label on it, 2025, just to, stay current and not confuse people. But the bugs are listed here in the README. There was, I could dive through them, but they're very minimal. Some broken buttons, some anchoring. We had a couple tooltip issues, and then a couple broken, like a calc and a script. But
yeah, someone was asking me about the investment in this, and the investment in this is quite a bit. In fact, I actually thought it's closer to $1 million over the last 12, 14, 15 years. It's quite a bit. So people are like, oh, it's easy to do. I'll just like every once in a while you'll see one of our competitors will use this one, or two, they'll come up with their own gee whiz And what you'll notice from the FileMaker community is they'll come up with a sample file, and then they don't immediately get rich, so they lose interest and they wander off. They don't support it. This has been supported since FileMaker 10. Thank you, Richard. Good, Richard. Okay. Yes, I didn't abandon anyone. Okay. Now, if you have a project that's already built, you're using an older version of Starting Point, how do you take advantage of the new Starting Point? You don't. FM Starting Point is a free unlocked solution that you use to start a new project. Okay, does that make sense, everyone? So if you're starting, well, because like I have my BVA database and it goes back to the 2020 version of Starting Point or some or whatever. No, 22. I was converting it to Claris. No, 2020. The year 2022 is when that started. So it looks the same, but whatever bugs existed from 3 years ago were what's in it. I've had to support and fix it. It looks the same, but it's different. So understand that. Yeah, good. We appreciate that. Yeah, I think it was actually at one point we did the math, and I didn't really like to do the math because my wife heard me doing the math one time and she lost her shit. Because yeah, but I invest. That's why we have the live streams, because we bring high value to all this, right? And we do it largely for free. That's why I always tell people to get a subscription, helps us pay the bills on this. So that's the interface over there on the right. The bug fixes there. Oh, people always have questions. What can I use this to do? And so you can take a copy of Starting Point. You can use it on any project you want. The only caveat is that you cannot take Starting Point and in an unmodified way redistribute it. So if you came over to the download file over here where Miles is at, it zips, it opens it up, and he calls it FileMaker CRM free or something. And then he takes the whole thing and zips it up and he gets rid of our name in it, the about page, and he distributes it or sells it. You can't do that. You have to make, if you want to give it away, you need to make substantial modifications into it. So it's clearly not the original Starting Point. Okay, that makes sense. We had someone who was online selling Starting Point for $2,000 a copy, true story. And they sold 2 or 3 or 4 of them on the East Coast to people. No modification. They just took our shit. It looks so nice, $2,000. People like, oh my God, so amazing. And then they called us and they wanted us to provide support. And I'm like, well, okay, but it's free product. No, it's not. We paid $2,000. I said, well, you didn't pay $2,000 to us. And they had to go back and find who had boned them. And those people had like a balloon popped and went away. Right. So took the money and ran. So there you go. So yeah, it's so good that people will steal it and charge for it. So, all right. Other questions from anyone? Do we have questions? I got Ghost Robot.
Is there a what's new in FMSP 2025 section on the site? No, but you'll find I think the changes in the README document, right? So.
Yeah, it's
correct. Yeah, they're in the README. And yeah, I think it's, if you're starting a new project now, yeah, get the latest version. But if you're like, I'm on the last version, it's not like you need to start over or move anything. You could fix the bugs yourself or just, yeah.
Real quick, can you show where we would find the file from last week? And we'll look at that briefly to see how different that is. So I took Starting Point Lite last week and we started prototyping and building out the inventory system for Big Valley. And there's an introductory video spot in it. And as the other videos for the week are made, those videos you can press the button, they'll turn on, if that makes sense. And so the idea is that we take Starting Point Lite, we made a training tool, we talked about data modeling, understanding, inventory kind of stuff and conversations about that, scripting the inventory controls with scripts instead of calculation fields. So that'll download, although, yeah, it's fine. Eventually, in the big scheme of things, we need to post the other link that makes sure they register so we have at least there. If we give them free, admin no password, I hope.
Admin no password.
Yep. Okay. All right. So what we did here, as a reminder, we took the projects and we added a tab over here, and then we added these tables here, and it's all part of that conversation. There's a part. Go back to that. Let me clear that.
Yep.
Back to projects or jobs, what we want to call it. A project and a job depends on what you call it. And right here, This tab right here is all the new stuff. And it was the conversation. You'll see the conversation. So this works here. These items work here. We discuss it in the live streams. These are workflow items here that can or it will be built out in Big Valley, but there's only so much we get to in a week. What Margaret's working on right now is going back and revisiting SMS because of all the spamming we get where we need to make sure we can do it. And so if you have an inventory issue where we're running out of a part up here, they can say, oh, they ran out of oil, like car oil, right? They ran out of oil for the helicopter. I'm like, I need 20 quarts for the helicopter and it has 6 in the warehouse. I'm like, what the hell, right? So that kind of hit a button, it text message. If it's urgent, goes to the parts department. They get it immediately and they can place an order, that kind of thing. And they can reply back into here. So if you go back to home screen real quick, what you're going to see, you can download this. It hit the data model briefly, bottom left. That's just the final data model we end up with. We talk about it in the video. That's just a screenshot. Okay. That's all that is. Okay. We ended up finalizing this on Thursday and Friday. That's a popover window. If we click out of that, then the next button over beyond that is videos. There's an introduction video at the top, which is functional. It'll open in a browser. So we took Lite and we added some stuff to it. And so this is a one-off. So some of you, we're like, we're not going to keep updating this Lite one. This is like a one-off, and now it's kind of done. The only change that'll happen, those video links will become live, so you can watch day 2 or day 3 or day 4. Okay, back to open questions about starting point.
Do you guys have any intention of adding any big new features to the platform? Or not platform.
Well, here's the rub. We did this parts thing over there and the inventory control as a demo. Okay. The problem is that every time we add a feature, it's a feature that a small subset of people want. And for the people who don't want it, it just becomes junk they don't need, they don't want to deal with. Right. And so we try to make sure this is the old joke, but it's FM starting point, not FM completely done. It'll never be completely done for anyone. But to start, when you start off in a project, a legit, like serious, like Big Valley here, we saved honestly $50,000 or $60,000 on the front end by building this out and using existing starting point. So all I had to do was really focus on the pieces that made their business different, which in aviation maintenance is a lot of regulatory items, not legal, but regulatory. Even in Europe, it's regulatory. Other questions about starting point?
Yeah, I mean, if someone's like, I don't know, developer is using this a lot on projects and something keeps coming up, like this would be great, like to have added, like give us feedback. We also have, you could submit bugs and preferences. But like Richard said, we take feedback, we look at new things being added to FileMaker, but then we have to zoom back out and think, okay, is this just good for 1 or 2 scenarios, or is this good for across the board as a starter solution versus let's work on development for you based on starting point?
I would say, yeah, so that's a good point. I'll segue into that. So starting point of all the projects that RCC has, half of them have some component of CRM-ish stuff in there. So CRM, customer relationship management, which means managing the contacts, managing the communication with them, managing potentially what they buy or their quote or their work order or their job projects or jobs over here, right? So even if you if you open, can you open Big Valley, or you want me to open it real quick? I probably could open that.
Yeah, I'll flip it to you.
Okay, let me open Big Valley real quick here, and just give me 2 seconds here. So you'll see the difference between this stuff. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to share here, and then I'm going to make the window get bigger. There it goes. I'm going to pop that. I'm going to go to the Big Valley. So this is the Big Valley window here. So you can see that the similarities. I got rid of buttons we didn't need, right? I changed some naming over here, right? But if you look at contacts over here, it's very, very, very similar to the contacts elsewhere. And obviously I'm doing some stuff down here. I'm looking at their work orders, right? Where, he did this and did that, whatever. And you got this right there. And like, oh my God, who is that person? This is a test record here, not a real record. But yeah, but we have this interface and you build on top of this. And so there is a invoices section in here. I put a line through it because this company already has a way of invoicing. And so I didn't want to get rid of it. You might hide the layouts or make it so remove it from the navigation so they don't see it. Like if they come over here at the top, they're using that, they're not using that, and they're using that, that, and that. So I could hide this up here, and it would be better to hide it and hold it in reserve until you needed it. And keep in mind, like a lot of these modules can be used for more than one thing. Like invoices can be used for estimates, can be used for purchase order system, right? Because it's a document with line items in it, right? So, yeah. And then this got customized for them, and they've got, quite a bit of customization in this, but they've invested in this pretty heavily. Questions?
Well, we have the comment from Andrew about trying there's possibly a menu issue or menu bug.
John Pollard mentioned this. So John Pollard is one of our intermittent people, likes to come on and watch the show. And hi, John, how's it going? So John says doing custom menus at the top is really difficult. Wouldn't it be great if we could customize these and not go through hell?
We're not going to update that because it's not important. We want you to go through hell. It builds character.
Okay, there's your answer. Builds character. It's been that way, right? So that is the custom menus at the top up here. Do they have custom menus here? I think we turned them
We
off.
do have a custom menu for them because they had special requirements for the show all button.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so here's what we did here. And it's a minor. So what we did is we come over here. Am I on it over here? Yeah, so we're on this one right here. So we did a custom menu. So what happens is that we have these projects called stealth projects. So we have test records in the system, and the customer loses their when they see test records, but we need test records in there. So we have a checkbox that says this is a stealth project only. So when they are over here, they won't see the stealth projects. If they're over here and they do a search, and we do a find mode, we go into find, they can find whatever they want, but if they hit show all, I'm going to hit script debugger. Watch this. This show all has been replaced under the hood.
Dad.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
If you share only that screen, it's not going. Oh, it did show script debugger. Never mind. I'm full of crap.
If it's here now, if I come down, is it still there? Or
yes, barely. So yes.
Okay, I'm going to leave it right. I'm going to leave it right here. So there is an underlying script here. Script menus. Okay, there's underlying script here. Normally, this would show all, but it's going to run this script because we created a custom menu that we had to rebuild this. It looks identical, but when it gets to show all or find or something, we have it run a script and pretend to be be doing what it's going to do. And it says, okay, what we're going to do, freeze a window. We're going to show all records, which is normally what that command we do, show all, find all. It used to be called find all, which made more sense. Then they said show all records. Then they don't see this. Then we enter find mode. And then we tell it we're going to omit anything with the flag stealth project on it, and then perform the find. And so they don't even know. I mean, I've told them we do this. It's not a secret, but they don't even know that it's like, and they can't see the stealth checkbox up here at the top because it sees that they're an admin. So magically, they have there's 186 records, but they have 174. This is not super great security. It's just, but I'm dealing with people who are not super detailed, sophisticated in terms of computer usage, right? For them, an exciting day is Microsoft Word and Excel. That's mostly what they do. So, but you would do this to help remove it. Then you could use record level security. And in that way, because like right now, they can override. They could find a way to override and find the stealth. One way or another, they could find it. If you do record level security, so you go into file and you manage and you go into security over here, what ends up happening is, I'm just going to play through on that and then have it. I must have hit the button. I'm going to go ahead and close that. How do I close that? There it goes. What ends up happening is that way, if they navigate to a spot they're not supposed to be at, then all the fields are grayed out, says no access to that data, right? So what I've done is it's called security through obscurity. It's useful if you have trustworthy people. It's not useful if someone's here and they're really malevolent and up to no good. Then you can do to keep it pretty, keep it from showing up. We're not going to see those other records because if I flip them, now we have test record here and test record here and Margaret test record, and they were freaking out because they would see it over here, right? Because, the FA can show up and inspect this place. They don't want to see a bunch of bullshit over here. So if the FA shows up, no, they're going to see the same thing these guys do, which is all the legit projects that are in progress. So Dr. John Pollard is correct.
Yes, his response is, "Oh, that's why my character is so strong," which I thought was funny. You told him that custom menus build character.
Oh yeah. No, it's pretty hideous. Nick did a 3-day thing extravaganza where he claimed it wasn't hideous, but it was like it was pretty bad. I mean, I would rather go clean the toilets than do a custom menu at the top, if that says anything.
Do any clients even use the AI features? Hilariously, we're looking at one that does.
Okay, so the built-in AI.
Oh, that.
Well, okay, back up. So when you say AI, I got into it with Claris. I told them they needed to make some AI features that I gave a shit about that would work. I'm waiting to see what happens from that. However, there are plenty of API services. If I'm going to stop sharing, let me stop sharing briefly here. Stop share. And there we go. And there we go. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share the whole screen, nothing but the whole screen. And then I'm going to go to a company called Assembly AI. So this was awesome. Assembly AI is a company. It's super cheap. And what they do is the people over here, to help them do a better job, what we end up doing is that they have, here's some product. Let me go to products right here. Okay, text, speech to text. They can record it into a container field. I'm working and I'm doing this thing, and it translates it to proper, not just text to speech, but it texts and it fixes the context. And then you can also say, I'm working on the end number of the aircraft, or this part kind of blah, blah, blah. And it's smart enough to parse it and to figure out where the data goes. In fact, initially it didn't work so good, but so there's different levels of AI, like super cheap AI, that's like 1/1000th of a penny to do some basic call, or you can dial up the intelligence level of the AI to like one request is a penny or 2 pennies. No one gives a. These guys are on top. They make 30 or 40, 50 requests a day. They say something. The smarter AI then parses it into these fields are identified. Like on an aircraft, you'll have an IN number and registration number. And if you throw that in there, the DEM AI won't figure it out. But if you turn it up on the assembly AI, it figures it out and sticks it in there for you. And it brings it back to FileMaker and it loads it in there. This stuff right here, even today, they came to me and said, this kicks ass. They love this AI. It's AI. It doesn't feel AI. It doesn't feel like it's trying to take over the world and kill us, right? But this is super useful. So there's things like this. That makes sense? Parsing emails, trying to understand what an email, parse it apart, then you can take action on it, right? So we are doing some AI. This has been very, very well received. Miles, do we have other AI examples that that the team, because you're talked to all the other engineers.
I don't think anything that's done yet. I think being explored and then, waiting to see what's coming.
Okay. Yeah, I know for that this was so good that I would want to use this myself. So if you come over here and I go to the layouts, mouse layouts, they never see this. So they do a voice dictation into the FileMaker Go. And what happens is that, let me see right here. Okay, this is the screen they see on their phone. And they say, I give them some keywords. They press this button here, and makes a recording, okay? And then what happens is that it hands it off the FileMaker server. And then what FileMaker server does is this screen right here, which is kind of this triage screen. The customer never sees it, but they get the recording right here in the container. It sends it off to OpenAI. About 20 seconds later, if I go to browse mode, here, let me go to the last one they did. Oh, okay, this is a real one right here. I don't know when this was. So we send it to them, we upload it, the full transcription comes back with this on it. And then we didn't ask for all this other stuff over here, right? Like they can say, I did this, I did work 2 hours of overtime, and I work 1 warranty hour because it was a warranty repair, and then 2 hours of standard time. And this AI will go, oh, okay, so it'll fill things out for you. So then 20, 30 seconds later, and I got to get rid of this real data. I'm gonna get rid of this. It'll fill all this out. Then once it's in here, you can write a script that, like, if we have these, or if any of those are filled in, when I add it to the project, I also go in and add a timesheet entry for the person for that amount. with the description down here. That's awesome. And why is this possible? Because the FileMaker platform allows us to have external APIs we talk to. Okay, so I recommend, there are some great AI examples that do awesome. Because back in the old days, you could always do voice to text, but it never really understood. And it was really kind of a mess. When I first tried this, I was so mad at these people. I sent them a nasty note. I said, listen, your product is as bad as it had 20 years ago. And what they said, well, you need to turn up the quality level. And I went back to my junior, and we're working team programming this with one of my mid-level engineers, actually almost a senior engineer now. And he's like, oh yeah, there's a setting where we can turn up the complexity. He goes, but it might be like 2 cents. I said, dude, it's a throwaway if it's not smarter. So he turns it up. So this request goes off, takes it 2 pennies. So these guys spend 20, 30 cents a day, maybe max, right? And it fills it in correctly and it goes straight in the system. So they're on top. They got grease on their hands. They don't have to get on a keyboard. Smart data entry, intelligent speech analysis. I love it. All right. Well, I don't have anything else.
Thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. And
We do appreciate
showing up
supporting
every
the channel.
day. Bye-bye. Have a good one. We will see you tomorrow.
No.